A deep political divide runs through American politics. It's a gap stretching from a place where the talk of sea level rise ends and conversation about climate change begins. While sea level rise is a subject most lawmakers are willing to at least touch upon, the topic of climate change is either ignored or ridiculed in many corners of Tallahassee and Washington, D.C. Florida Governor Rick Scott has proven equal to any Washington, D.C. denialist. Arguably the state's most famous Republican, the governor turned U.S. Senate candidate made national news in 2015 when he was credibly accused of preventing state employees from even uttering the words climate change. Tide gauge measurements at several points across Florida provide proof that not only are the world's oceans rising, but that the pace with which they are doing so has accelerated since 2006. Studies consistently show the flooding is happening with more frequency. This year, flooding caused by high tides is anticipated to occur 60% more often in the United States than it did in 2000. That's according to a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration study. The Washington, D.C. culture, though, has come to be exemplified by people like GOP Senator James Inhofe, who as chairman of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee once famously tossed a snowball onto the floor of the Senate, asked how snow could exist if the planet were warming. U.S. Representative Charlie Crist, a Democrat representing Florida's 13th congressional district, said unlike many others, Florida's congressional delegation seems willing to see things differently when sea level rise and climate change are debated. Florida's 1st congressional district U.S. Representative Matt Gaetz of Fort Walton Beach is as conservatively Republican as anyone in the House, but he's also a member of the 84-member Climate Solutions Caucus. The sea level rise climate change discussion is, quote, far too driven by people's partisan lenses, Gaetz said. However, on August 13th, President Trump signed a defense authorization bill that includes a requirement that the military design and modify its buildings to better resist flooding, and calls for new military installations constructed in the 100-foot floodplain be designed to withstand an additional 2 feet of flooding. As the political season progresses, it is clear that the effects of sea level rise and climate change may impact the ballots of many Florida voters.